Hello! Welcome to the first video on my new art channel. My name is Kelly and I'm making an art channel. I'm painting a frog in my 100% cotton hot press Paul Rubens watercolor sketchbook. I started this painting on my break at work. Laying in some color wet on wet here. I really like this sketchbook. It's a very low pressure way to start using cotton paper. I thought I would like hot press paper, and I do. So I'm going to start using some of my other hot press cotton paper now that I'm not scared to mess it up, because I've had some practice in this cute little sketchbook. I'm painting with my little travel kit that I put together, which includes the sketchbook and watercolors from Daniel Smith and Qor, as well as some Holbein white gouache. I've got the colors on the screen right now, and they'll also be listed in the description in case you're curious. I did not use every color for this piece. I'm not entirely sure which colors I used, but I can try to figure that out and put it in the description. This is the reference I used. It's a photo from Unsplash. The photographer is Stephanie LeBlanc, and I'll have a link to that in the description as well. I'm using a dagger brush because I didn't have a number 6 round, which is what I probably would have used if I had one. I do have one now in my travel kit because I got one on a Black Friday sale. Some orange there got into the leg and I had to clean that up. That worked well. Add back some green. And as I go through and paint this frog, I'm going to talk a little bit about where I've been artistically and where I am now and where I would like to go with it, and why I'm starting this channel. And I'll come back to talking about the process as I see things that might be worth mentioning. I don't have a script, I'm just kind of doing this off the cuff. My break here was about to be over, so I finished the painting at home. This is at home. And you can let me know in the comments what kind of shots you prefer to watch art on, if you have a preference. Do you like the top-down view, or the sort of in from the side, or a mixture, if I should go back and forth with my camera angles. And yeah, I mean, I intend to experiment and figure out what I like better too, but I'm happy to take feedback. So I always used to love painting when I was a kid, drawing and painting and just making stuff in general. And I've never really stopped liking to make stuff, but I ended up going to school for art the first time I went to school. I'm actually back in school now for a different thing, but the first time I went to school I went for art because I didn't know what else to do. And everybody said, well, get a degree. Doesn't matter what kind. It'll help you get a job. I think a lot of millennials heard that. And maybe for some people it was true, but for me it didn't turn out to be. I went to a state school that had an art school in it, and I originally wanted to be a painting major. But what I didn't know when I started was that the head of the painting department was really a horrible person. Misogynistic, and would have his students paint themselves nude and then critique their bodies instead of the paintings. And when I found out stuff like that from other students, I decided, like, I just was not willing to put myself through that, and I didn't have the confidence to put in any kind of complaint or anything. I didn't really know how to do that, and I still struggle with that sometimes, and like knowing where the lines are, but I didn't know at the time that I was autistic, but I had been homeschooled in the unschooling method my entire life up until that point. Hadn't really had any experience working with systems or dealing with things like that, and so I just kind of dealt with it by avoiding it. And one of my professors in my studio fundamentals class thought I had promise as a sculptor and kept telling me that painting and illustration and drawing are dead. The only future of art is in sculpture or photography. So I let myself be influenced, because I couldn't do the painting thing. I couldn't be in the painting department with a person like that in charge. And the sculpture department was pretty chill. You know, I liked the people there, and I liked my professor, and I liked the approval. And so I switched to sculpture. And I started doing these really large wooden sculptures that everybody really liked. And I didn't know at the time that I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I didn't know at the time that it wasn't normal to be in so much pain all the time. So I just pushed through like I always had. Ended up hurting myself, hurting my wrist, hurting various things. I received a lot of praise for my sculptures, and I was included in a gallery show in DC, and I absolutely hated every minute of it. And I realized, like, I can't keep doing this. I can't deal with the art world if this is what it's like. I can't keep burning myself out making sculptures like this. It's too much. I can't do it. And I don't want to do it. I don't want anything to do with what I saw of the art world at that point. Like the gallery world, I guess. I found it quite pretentious, and just it felt very inauthentic, and I felt so worthless when I was making those sculptures, and it just was not what I wanted to do. It was not what I loved. But I only had one more semester left at that point, so I got through it. I did my senior show in sculpture and graduated, and left with a lot of burnout, both artistic burnout and autistic burnout. And I couldn't make art. I couldn't make art for 8 years. I couldn't read for 8 years. I didn't function super great in many ways. But those were the biggest things. I couldn't do it. Couldn't make art. Couldn't draw. Nothing I did came out well at all. I felt horrible about all of it for like 8 years. And then eventually I started recovering. I'm skipping over a lot, but like this is the gist of it. Eventually I started recovering and being able to make art again, and enjoying it, and being able to improve. And so for the past, I would say 4 to 5 years, I've been getting better and better at like just being able to make art. And now I can really pretty consistently, whenever I want to make something, I can. And that it was so long that I couldn't at all. And I'm really glad that I've got it back. But I still have a lot of guilt around creating. And that comes from my childhood. My dad yelling at me and punishing me for creating when he wanted me to be doing chores or whatever. Creating in a way that made noise, and he didn't want to hear the noise, and so he would scream at me because he couldn't handle his emotions. So the guilt thing is part of why I'm starting this channel, because I think if I have some place to put my art and my process, and to connect with other people and Just having a place for it, having a purpose for it other than just to create for the sake of creating, I think I'll be able to feel a lot less guilty about it. Which is kind of messed up, I know, but I mean, I'm kind of messed up from the way my dad treated me. He's not currently in my life anymore, hasn't been for a long time. Here I'm going in with the white gouache to do some highlights and fix some things where the color ended up where I didn't want it, like in the eye. Here I'm going in with a white gel pen. It's an Arteza gel pen. I've been pleasantly surprised with the Arteza gel pens. I've always tried different gel pens and none of them really worked for me very well, except for these ones have been. So I don't know if that's just a batch thing with different batches of different kinds of white gel pen, but for whatever reason, the Arteza white gel pens are working for me quite well for adding highlights and so forth to my watercolors. And then in a minute I'm going to be starting to add some colored line art with the pretty sure Pentel matte hop pens they're very colorful, very vibrant, and I've been really enjoying adding those as well. And I want to do more. This is where I'm getting to the going forward portion. I want to stylize more. I want to use more colored line art. I want to loosen up more and do less realism. I'm pretty happy with how this frog ends up turning out with the colored line art. And he's not very stylized, but he's not 100% just totally realistic. So that makes me happy that I at least did that. Lining the head and stippling on the arm. Front leg, I suppose. I'm gonna call it his arm. I've tried to record this voiceover 3 different ways. I don't know how many different times. Quite a few. I have to expect this. Like, it's my first time trying to make a video, like a video. So it's all a learning process. But for like the past 4 hours, except for a brief interlude where I stopped to make pancakes, I've just been trying. And I think I got it this time. I think this is gonna work, which is a relief. But using the brown matte hop pen to go around, add some definition to the toes, add some shadows. red to add some texture to the flower bud that the frog is clinging onto. Some orange in there. So if you like this video, you can, or if you can relate to anything I talked about, comment below, say hello, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. I intend to make more videos and to get better at making videos and get more efficient at making videos. They don't take 2 months to make one video. Subscribe and look forward to that. And do comment. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you like, what you don't like. Not that I'll necessarily change it if it's something that I do like, but I want to hear feedback. I want to hear criticism. I want to hear just thoughts. Thoughts on guilt about creating. Do any of you experience that? Do you feel guilty when you create? Do you avoid creating because you feel so guilty about it, even when you want to? I'm trying not to do that anymore. I'm trying to just let myself create when I want to, at least most of the time. But it's not always easy. So, let me know. Here's the finished frog. Here he is. Very colorful, very vibrant. I'm pretty pleased with it. And there's a still shot of the finished frog and a close-up pan down and up the frog. There's a side-by-side with the reference, and apologies for the transition. I couldn't get it to be better than that. Something I'll be working on. Thanks for watching. Bye.